Today we'll be looking at the Uncomplicated Guide to Autodesk Construction Cloud, the different applications and advantages that's included in the Autodesk Construction Cloud solutions. From an agenda point of view, it really is close to impossible to talk about Autodesk Construction Cloud without mentioning information management. So I'll kick us off by touching briefly on information management, and then we'll really get to the meat of the presentation that's all around Autodesk Construction Cloud. And we're looking at the three products that we find most popular at the moment, where most questions are also coming from, and that is Autodesk Docs, Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, and Autodesk Gold. And I'll also touch on some frequently asked questions during the duration of the presentation. My name's Jani Viljoen, Director of Professional Services at Baker Baines. Baker Baines is a company that focuses on consulting, education, and also providing software and hardware technologies to the building, civil infrastructure, process energy, mining, and manufacturing industries. And I will be your host today. Let's start off by looking at information management. Now, I'm pretty sure as you sit here listening to this session, whether it is live or whether it is the recording on YouTube, that your desktop probably looks similar to this. Multiple different tabs open at the same time, and doesn't matter how hard you try, somewhere we all have a folder structure that looks similar to this. We have multiple different tabs open, each of these different tabs providing us with different information or asking us to add different information. And chances are you also have quite a lot of emails with attachments and different pieces of information, whether it's about internal processes and operations or things that are happening on projects. Now, according to research, it is said that the average employee spends about 2 hours a day looking for information. When I first read this, I thought, can't be 2 hours, seems a little bit much. But when you start thinking about it, how long did it take you to get that phone number for one of the consultants from a project directory if you wanted to follow up on a coordination issue? How long would it take you to find your company logo or your Revit template or the meeting minutes from last week's coordination meeting, the agenda for what's happening on the site meeting? All of these things may only take a couple of minutes at one given point in time, but it really does add up. And when we talk about building information modeling, a lot of people think of it as a working process, which it completely is. It definitely isn't just a piece of software or a physical item on its own. But it really is also all about the information, and it is a means of collating, communicating, and managing information. I always say it is all about getting the right information to the right people at the right time. And then, yes, of course, there is a virtual asset, and then this asset ties in your graphical models, your asset data, and your documentation into an information model. So when we think of BIM, it's often better to say, instead of thinking of building information modeling, think of it as better information management, because effectively it really should be not just a design process, but a process and a methodology that allows you to manage your project information much better. And as soon as we start thinking about information management and all the different information in a BIM project environment, a common data environment or a CDE comes to mind. Now, if you're wondering why I'm talking about CDEs and not actually uncomplicating the Autodesk Construction Cloud solution, I promise I will get there, but it is important that we're all on the same page with what a common data environment is. Those familiar with the ISO 19650 standards will also know that a common data environment is a requirement that is set out in the series of standards and guidelines. Now, a common data environment really is an environment. It is not an experience. It is something that includes both technology and processes and workflows. Furthermore, it is a single source of information. Now, whilst there are multiple different applications that can provide you a single source of information, we would obviously recommend the Autodesk Construction Cloud solutions. It's also important to consider when you're looking at a single source of information if the application or the platform or the tool that you're using is aligned to building construction projects or construction projects and not aligned to office administration, for example. Then further on, a common data environment is used to collect, manage, and disseminate documentation. So what this means, it is a tightly controlled process of how things enter, move through, and leave the system. So if we think of something like a simple file sharing application like WeTransfer, there really is no tightly controlled processes in that. So something like that would not be considered a common data environment. And then it is for both the graphical and non-graphical data. So yes, it's not just for the architects and consultants and their drawings and models, but it is also for sheet specifications, drawings, and really everything project related, because it should be used by the whole project team. So that means everyone, your general contractor, contractors, your subs, architects, engineers, owners, everyone in the entire life cycle of the project from a design, plan, build, and operate point of view. Great, so let's get into the Autodesk Construction Cloud, or what we often refer to as ACC. In the Autodesk world and in the BIM environment, you'll find that everyone loves a good acronym. So if you hear me referring to ACC, I'm talking about the Autodesk Construction Cloud, previously known as BIM 360. I will touch on a couple of those questions as we go through the session. Now, the Autodesk Construction Cloud is a platform that is really there to connect workflows, teams, and data of every stage of the project. From a design point of view, it really allows everyone to work together in their shared files, and during a planning stage, collaborate on a single platform, connect what you're doing in the office to what's going on the job site during construction, and from an operation and maintenance point of view, increase the project visibility so they know what actually happened in the life cycle of that project. All of this is underpinned or supported by shared data, and that includes models, drawings, images, cost items, assets, as-built, photos, videos, the list goes on. So what you should be able to gather from this is that really Autodesk Construction Cloud is a common data environment plus. So I say a common data environment plus because yes, it ticks all the boxes of a common data environment as we looked at in the previous definition, but it also allows for multiple other workflows that are very beneficial in the project lifecycle. Let's delve a little bit deeper into the actual applications, because I promised you an uncomplicated guide. So let's see if we can achieve that today. First of all, Autodesk Docs. Now, I'm hoping that those listening to this has a very good understanding, and I know that you probably do, of a foundation. And Autodesk Docs really is the foundation to the Construction Cloud. It is centralized document management for the entire project lifecycle. Think Autodesk Docs, document management, and this is really where we control our documents and our versioning for a large variety of different file types. It does support Revit and AutoCAD publishing, as well as 2D and 3D viewing and comparison. In other words, if you're not a Revit user, but you want to see the Revit model because perhaps you've got some input on it or you need to review it, that is completely possible. Also, approval workflows, or what we sometimes refer to as review workflows, where documents need to go through a specific workflow in order to be reviewed and approved, issues, markups, and then some reporting and analytics. And Autodesk Docs is included in your architecture, engineering, and construction collection. So those of you who do have access to the AEC collection, you will also have access to Autodesk Docs. Then building on top of this, we have Autodesk BIM Collaborate and BIM Collaborate Pro, previously known as BIM 360 Glue or BIM 360 Design. Now, BIM Collaborate Pro, again, as the name suggests, is really all about design collaboration and coordination for your design and virtual design and construction teams. If you have a look at Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, it includes design collaboration in that subscription entitlement, as well as model coordination. And then the Pro builds on top of what you already have in Collaborate, and it also includes your Revit Cloud work sharing, as well as collaboration for Civil 3D and Plant 3D. I won't be going into a lot of detail around collaboration for Civil 3D and Plant 3D today, but we'll mostly look at the Revit Cloud work sharing. And like I mentioned, Autodesk Docs is the foundation, so everything else is built on top of Autodesk Docs. And what that means is whether you have BIM Collaborate or BIM Collaborate Pro, you also have access to Autodesk Docs included in that BIM Collaborate Pro subscription. Then next up, if we have a look at Autodesk Build, again, if you hear build, think about building or construction. This really is field and project management software. From a subscription entitlement point of view, you have access to project management tools, quality and safety tools, cost management, schedule management, as well as project closeout. And if you have access to Build, you also have access to Docs. It's built on top of that foundation, and the Docs subscription and functionalities are included in the Autodesk Build subscription. Then last but certainly not least, Autodesk Takeoff. The name Takeoff would hopefully make you think of 2D and 3D takeoffs for estimators. That is definitely what Autodesk Takeoff is all about, quantity takeoffs. And like I mentioned, 2D, 3D takeoffs, multiple different classification systems, formula-based quantities, and again, built on top of Autodesk Docs. So if you have access to Takeoff, you also have access to Autodesk Docs. Then to just underpin all of this, there's a couple of things that's included in all of these subscription, whether Docs, BIM Collaborate Pro, BIM Collaborate, Autodesk Gold, Autodesk Takeoff, and that is centralized admin, dashboards, and reporting. It is worth mentioning just you can only report on what you have access to. So if you have access to BIM Collaborate, you can report on coordination issues and what's happening on your models, but you won't necessarily be able to report on cost management if you don't have access to that. Now, based on all of this, you may wonder, well, how do I know exactly what I need or what my project needs? When I think about needs, I often say to people, you don't necessarily need a car to get to work. It is often the most efficient and fastest way to get to work. But in some cases, well, if you're working from home, you definitely don't need that. If your office is down the road, maybe you could walk there, or maybe you could take the bicycle. And the reason why I'm using this analogy is what you need would really depend on your project, your desired outcomes, the setup of your project, and the rest of the consultants. So there are various different ways of achieving things. Sometimes it's the bicycle, sometimes it's the car. Oftentimes the car would obviously be the best and the fastest way to get to your destination. But let's break it down a little bit. From an Autodesk Docs point of view, so Autodesk Docs really is the foundation, it's the core. This is, I'd like to say, the bare minimum. It is for all project members who will be creating, reviewing, approving, or consuming project information. So at the base, I would always say that your project members need to at least have access to Autodesk Docs. Then from a BIM Collaborate point of view, BIM Collaborate really is for your BIM coordinators, those doing the coordination on the project, for your project leads. Perhaps they're not actively involved in authoring the Revit model, but they're definitely involved in overseeing the coordination and the collaboration. And oftentimes project managers. You also need to see that the design stages and that pre-construction is done efficiently and that we don't have any major coordination or design issues. Your Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro, this is really for your Revit users. Again, remember that this does have Docs included. From an Autodesk Build point of view, this really is for everyone actively involved in stage 5 or actively involved in construction. So if you have a draftsperson who really is only just doing some construction drawings, but they won't be on site, they won't be doing any quality or safety or snagging checks or anything like that, probably don't need Autodesk Build. But if you're a project manager, most definitely. Contractors, yes. Oftentimes subcontractors also, but definitely would recommend to get some of the subs on. Your project leads, those from the different consultants who are on site, who do need to oversee the quality and safety aspects, who are responding to RFIs, who do need to approve workshop drawings or test results or things like that, and then your BIM managers. Before I continue, it's just worth mentioning that this subscription entitlement for Autodesk Construction Cloud is based on one person, one license, or one subscription. And then lastly, let's just have a look at Autodesk Takeoff, and this really is for your estimators and your quantity surveyors. And again, Autodesk Docs is included in there. Okay, let's get started by having a look a little bit more in detail into Autodesk Docs.
What would the value to your project be if every person who works on a job has confidence that they are working with the latest information? No matter what they do or where they work, it would mean less rework, lower costs, and improved schedule timing. This is what Autodesk Docs is built to deliver, the ability for every team member to trust their software from design through construction. A common data environment shared by design, quantification, coordination, project management, and field collaboration keeps all project data in one place. Native integrations with design software gets information published fast and in the desired format, meaning no critical project info is lost in the gap between incompatible solutions. You can keep the right information in the right hands with powerful document and version control. Customized folder structures and comprehensive permissioning keeps information organized. And advanced search makes it easy to find what you need in the office or on the job site. More advanced control is delivered through document review processes, making sure you only make information available when it is ready. And transmittals help you keep track of who has received what and when. Add in powerful markup tools and the ability to track and collaborate on issues across the lifecycle, and you've got real collaboration and coordination. One-click access to drawings, models, and even Microsoft Office files brings the power of collaboration to the whole team. Access to all data, simple viewing and collaboration tools, all without leaving the platform. With Autodesk Docs at the heart of unified Autodesk Construction Cloud, teams can trust the data they rely on, anywhere, anytime.
Okay, next up, I promised you some frequently asked questions. The first thing that we always get is, how do I access Docs if I have a AEC collection? Now, firstly, this will be available in your Autodesk account. I would recommend that this action is taken by the contract manager or the software coordinator, not by every individual in your team. And in your Autodesk account, you should see Autodesk. In your Autodesk account, you should see Docs for AEC collection. If you go and click access to get access to that, it'll allow you a pop-up where you can activate your account for your new group, put in your account name, decide where you want to host your data, and create it. Next question I get quite a lot is, what is the storage limit? And I'm very pleased to say that there is no storage limit. So it's not like you're uploading a bunch of drawings and halfway through the project you've run out of storage and you need to upgrade or anything like that. And you also have an unlimited amount of projects that you can add to your Autodesk Construction Cloud account. How do I collaborate with non-subscription holders? I understand that often every single person on the project may not need access to this. Let's take an example. Maybe there's a landscape architect. Their scope of work on this project is really minute, and all they need is they just need 1 or 2 drawings to be shared with them once. The great thing is, again, you don't have to download, save somewhere else, editing that single source of truth, add email attachments. You can share things with non-project members inside of Docs by selecting the document and going to share, and then it allows you the ability to share it with someone from another project, share it with someone from outside, and again, from an audit trail point of view, you can see if something has been shared, and you can only share something if you have download access. Next up, Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro. Now, what is BIM Collaborate Pro? I'm kind of going to talk about BIM Collaborate and BIM Collaborate Pro in one, because basically it's one product, the one just builds on top of the other one. It is really a tool for better clash avoidance and collaboration in a common data environment. For the designers and the authors, it allows you the ability to work anytime, anywhere in Revit, Civil 3D, or Plant 3D. So put your Revit Central model on the cloud, work anytime, anywhere. For the reviewers, it essentially manages your data on one platform. So now everything from a coordination point of view, coordination issues, clash issues, design collaboration issues, everything in one place. And you can really oversee that coordination and collaboration process by spotting the bottlenecks, seeing who's behind on sharing models, and get great insight into what's going on. Then your decision makers, again, it's a great way for them to share feedback, view insights, actually detect the clashes on any device. Okay, so that brings us to the question around the differences between BIM Collaborate and BIM Collaborate Pro. I mentioned it earlier, but I do want to just go into a little bit more detail. Firstly, we know that Docs is included. Docs is included, it's the foundation, it's included in all the other Construction Cloud applications. Then you have your design collaboration. So within design collaboration, you set your publishing, package your review, and distribution. So this, it always ends up, I don't know why Fridays are so popular, but people always share their latest models on Fridays, and that can be set in the publishing set, which sheets, which other related elements, when are you distributing this package to other team members. You can also visually compare the different versions. If you get a new model from the structural engineer on Friday, did they just send the model because it was Friday and then had to update, or did they actually change something? And you can have a look at some of those design issues in there. Model coordination, automated clash detection, group those clashes into one. Manage your coordination issues and your coordination meetings, everything in one platform. And then this is all included in BIM Collaborate, and BIM Collaborate Pro has everything plus the ability to do Revit Cloud work sharing. So this really means that your Revit model is now in the cloud, your central model is now in the cloud, and you can access it from anywhere. Let's get on to some frequently asked questions, specifically in the space of model coordination. I get this question quite a lot when talking to project managers or even some developers sometimes, where they say, I'm a project manager, how would this benefit me? Depending on your role in the project, this would differ, but for me, definitely from a project management point of view, having access to model coordination means that you can oversee that coordination process. You can see where the bottlenecks are. It's clear and transparent what's going on with coordination issues. It makes it easier for you to see where there may be cost or budget overruns from issues that occur. And you can see what the consultants are up to in terms of sharing and coordinating their models. Another question, how is this different than Navisworks? It is similar to Navisworks. For me, the one big difference when you look at something like the model coordination and clash detection within BIM Collaborate is the fact that it is live, real-time, and automatic. From a Navisworks point of view, someone would share a model with you, you'd download it, you'd save it, you'd append it into Navisworks, run a clash detection, send a report. People would go and fix their model. Next week, you complete the same process. Here, whatever's happening from a coordination point of view is visible to everyone who's got permission to that. And if I update something, I upload my new model, it's on Friday, those clash reports are automatically updating. So automatic and really a little bit more transparent and easily accessible. If you're the type of person who has this question, if you're worried about other consultants who may use your models, specifically if you're now sharing models all the times or your families or your templates, I do recommend that you go and check out the webinar recording on YouTube for Whose Model Is It Anyway? Intellectual Property 101. Next up, some frequently asked questions about design collaboration. Can I use this instead of my server for our Revit work sharing? Absolutely. This is something that a lot of people ask us. And yes, you can. Even if you are working on a project and all of your other consultants are not close to Revit and BIM collaboration, but you want a better way of doing your Revit work sharing, you can absolutely use BIM Collaborate Pro. Okay, let's have a look at
Autodesk BIM Collaborate Pro empowers project teams to align and execute on design intent and constructability by managing the entire design collaboration and coordination workflow within a single cloud-based solution in a common data environment. Revit Cloud Work Sharing enables you to co-author work-shared Revit models hosted on the cloud with other team members in real time. Project teams communicate their design updates with each other using the Design Collaboration module. Other teams get notified through the project timeline that a new package is now available. Here, the architecture team creates a package and decides which content to include in this package. The package can then be explored and consumed by the other teams. Here, the structural team sees that a new package is available from the architecture team. After exploring the package and reviewing the changes that will impact their model, the structural team decides to consume the package. Before a construction project breaks ground, it is important to identify and resolve clash and constructability issues. Model coordination performs automated clash detection of models hosted on the cloud, enabling design and trade partners to quickly identify and resolve model conflicts. In addition, users can easily create, assign, and track coordination issues to ensure accountability and resolution. Once the problem has been resolved in the Revit model, the team can create a structural package of their own and communicate their design changes back to the larger project team. The other team sees that a new package is now available on the project timeline. They can explore the package and use the Show Changes tool to better understand how the design has been changed. Once the changes have been reviewed, they can change the status of the issue and close it out.
Next up, Autodesk Gold. I'm going to break this down slightly differently because there's a lot of capabilities and workflows within Autodesk Gold. First of all, I know I'm repeating myself a lot today, but after today, you'll definitely know that Docs is included in all of the Construction Cloud solutions. So document control, versioning, approvals, transmittals, those reviews that we've seen before, all included. Then we have the cost management aspect of this. Not wildly popular in South Africa just yet, but this does allow you to do budget creation, admin, change orders, forecasting, and some payment applications. Project management is the aspect that I've seen most popular so far, and I really believe that it has so much benefit in specifically for South African projects and other projects within an African environment. And this really is where we can do our requests for information through a proper workflow that is transparent and that is an audit trail. Submittals, so anything like workshop drawings, spec sheets, anything that the contractor or subcontractor would be submitting for you to approve. Meeting minutes, so your site meeting minutes, your daily site reports, all of that workflow and capabilities specific in Autodesk Gold. Quality and safety kind of grouped into one because it uses similar features in order to achieve this, but your QA/QC punch lists, snag lists, managing quality and safety issues, tracking those safety observations or inspections can all be achieved both on the web-based browser as well as the mobile app. And then project closeout. So ultimately doing your final as-built complete survey and sending that to the customer or allowing the customer or the client to have an overall bundle and group of data that is related to their completed project. As you can see, Autodesk Gold really has a vast amount of capabilities and workflows, and I wish we had time to go into all of this in detail because, they always say the proof is in the pudding, but I do want to just have a quick overview of some of the main features and functionalities, and if you do want to see a deep dive into the capabilities and workflows, do watch out for some of our upcoming webinars.
Seamlessly manage RFIs and connect them to other tasks across the project lifecycle. To start, simply click Create RFI and fill in the critical info. To help speed up the response time, add in a suggested answer and provide critical context by linking references or even dropping a pushpin to specific areas in the project. And with RFIs on mobile, users can edit the RFI from the field, even taking additional photos and linking directly to the RFI. Once submitted, the reviewer will be notified and can respond with a click of a button. RFIs can also be connected across the project lifecycle by elevating an issue to an RFI and creating a bidirectional link. And when the RFI has a cost implication, you can create a potential change order right from the RFI, making it easy for project teams to control costs and track the origin of change orders. Efficiently create, coordinate, and manage all submittals in a single submittal log. Submittal managers can easily create a submittal item and link to the appropriate spec section, or create a new section if needed, and add in all critical information. Once the submittal item is created, the responsible contractor is notified. Users can open the item, review the details, and upload any necessary documents before submitting to the submittal manager for review. Managers can select necessary reviewers and distribution list members. Once submitted, the reviewers will be notified and can view attachments and provide comments before selecting an official response from the drop-down list. Once the item is approved, the submittal can be closed out and distributed to the team. Closed submittals are immediately available to all project members on desktop and mobile and will appear in recent activity in Project Home. And when the field team is searching for closed submittals, they can leverage the search and filter features to quickly locate and view the submittal item. From design to coordination to building, meetings are effortless and productive with clear visibility into the commitments made and an organized history of all records with meeting minutes. Any project user can create an agenda by simply selecting Create Meeting and adding invitees. For virtual meetings, leverage the integration with Zoom to seamlessly add in the link. To build the agenda, add meeting topics and sub-items, and with advanced text editing, teams can better emphasize, highlight, and organize key information. For each item, you can add files, sheets, RFIs, and issues as references. During the meeting, users can effortlessly capture minutes, remove invitees, track attendance, assign items, and add due dates. And if a follow-up meeting is needed, it can be generated before attendees have even left the room, and any unresolved items can automatically carry over. With meetings on mobile, team members can quickly view and search the meeting agenda directly from the field. Clearly document daily work, creating transparency and accountability with daily reporting capabilities. To ensure teams provide the necessary information, users can customize the daily report template. Using the template builder, create the desired daily report by adding in weather or changing the order of section. Once the template is complete, it will be accessible to all project team members. Each day, team members can navigate to the Forms tab on a desktop or mobile device to create new daily reports. If the template included weather, it will automatically populate. Add in a description, log the work, filling in crew details, and track material quantity put in place as well as equipment used. Important notes or link references such as photos and issues can be added to the report. Additionally, users can see an activity log of changes made, providing critical transparency from the job site. To share the reports externally, users can export the file or provide a shareable link.
Then, to close us out, I want to highlight just a couple of things from an ACC account and insight point of view. Firstly, you do have access to dashboards. I find dashboards very useful because it gives you that bird's eye view of what's happening on the project. What you can see in front of you here is really a dashboard that features a lot of the construction-specific information, project RFIs, submittals, in terms of your quality and safety, what kind of risks can you imagine on your project. But these dashboards can be custom in terms of whether you want to see design, coordination, quality, whatever element of the project you want to get a dashboard on. Again, the dashboards will have cards and information available that's customizable depending on the application and the entitlement of Autodesk Construction Cloud that you have. Next up, reports. The application and Autodesk Construction Cloud allows you to do a large variety of reports, costing, issues, RFI, submittals with details and so forth. And what's really great is these can be scheduled. So perhaps before your site meeting or before your meeting with the consultants, you want to get the details of the RFIs and everything that is still outstanding or overdue. With setting up an automatic schedule for this, you could say, my meetings are usually on a Wednesday, so make sure that this report is automatically scheduled and sent to my inbox the Tuesday before. When you're setting up your projects, it is important to consider your folder structure. There are a lot of ISO 19650 guidelines that I recommend you have a look at. But once you've set up this folder structure and your permissions and your roles, this can be included in a project template that you can apply so that you don't have to do all of that legwork every single time. A couple of general frequently asked questions. This one that's always top of mind is who hosts the project? Well, ideally the client, because ultimately I guess it's their project and it's information that pertains to the management of the facility after construction, but we know that this is not always the case. Often it's the principal agent, the developer, one of the consultants who were kind of just the first to raise their hand and said, okay guys, we'll host it. But one thing to consider is that we do not recommend moving projects from one account or from one hub to the next unless it's at an onset of a new stage. So if a consultant hosted the project during the design stage and perhaps only in construction, the developer or the client said, hey, I want to get on board, then move it as it moves over to construction, but ideally not the best idea to be moving project information around or to have multiple projects. So the client hosts the project, but you also have your own project, because that kind of goes against the idea of a single source of truth. Just to give you an idea, here you can see our Autodesk account for the Baker Baines professional services and some of the projects that we are hosting. And if I have a look at my project list, here I can see a long list of projects, and there's a bunch of projects here that we are not hosting where we have been invited to some of our customers and consulting clients' projects to assist. Questions about BIM 360 always come up when we talk about Autodesk Construction Cloud and what happens to BIM 360 projects now that we are on Autodesk Construction Cloud. Good news is it's still there, you can still access it, and you can actually get to this through your project list, kind of like the homepage, landing page for everything Construction Cloud projects. And here you can see we've got that circular icon on a lot of projects, but we do also have that B. That means this is a project that is hosted on BIM 360, and in this case, this project will most likely stay on BIM 360 until it is completed. Again, not the best idea to move a project between BIM 360 and Construction Cloud whilst you're kind of in the thick of things. Rather wait either for onset of a new stage or perhaps just until the project is closed out. Next up, how do the subscriptions work when adding different consultants? So remember what I said in the beginning, it is one project member, one subscription, or one seat. So there are a couple different options here. If you are the project host, you can either provide subscriptions to the members that you are inviting, or alternatively, you can invite them, but confirm with the project members that they can bring their own subscriptions. Subscriptions for Autodesk Construction Cloud products are assigned to users in Autodesk accounts. This is the same that it would work for something like a Revit or an AutoCAD and so forth. To give you a little bit of an idea here I can see I'm in the administrative side of a project that is not hosted by Baker Baines. If I look at my own account, you can see here that member subscription, it says this subscription is not managed by your organization's account. Now imagine this was ABC property developer. They've invited us. We're helping them on their project, and I am bringing my own subscription, and that's where they'll get that little notification on the right-hand side to say this member subscription is from a different account. So I'm bringing my own. Whereas if I look at our own Baker Baines account under member subscriptions, you'll see that it shows which products I have access to, and that's how I know that these are my own subscriptions that I'm using. Or alternatively, if I wanted to go and add a new person to the project, like Richard, for example, here, and I want to assign him one of our subscriptions, one of the Baker Baines subscriptions or your project subscriptions, you'll see it gives me an option of what is available to me. Where is my data saved? So Autodesk Construction Cloud is available on both a European and on a US server, Amazon Web Service. The server location can be selected when you set up your new Autodesk Construction Cloud. It is, however, not possible to move projects between servers. So if you have a project on a US server and it actually needs to be on a Europe server, perhaps because of GDPR, then you'll have to create a new account from scratch with that new server location and do manual downloads and uploads to that project. So do just consider that when you start the process of getting access to Construction Cloud. Okay, in summary, we've had a look at all of the different entitlements or products within the Autodesk Construction Cloud. Autodesk Docs, Document Management, the BIM Collaborates, Autodesk Gold, and Autodesk Takeoff. To make it simpler, because I really want you to walk away with a very clear idea of what all of these applications are for and how they can benefit you, let's have a look at it like this. Autodesk Docs is centralized document management for the entire project lifecycle and for all team members. BIM Collaborate and BIM Collaborate Pro is for the design, collaboration, and model coordination, specifically for your design and management teams. Autodesk Build, remember building, construction, is for field and project management software for those involved in construction, and Autodesk Takeoff is for 2D and 3D takeoffs for your quantity surveyors and estimators. Just to summarize everything from a Baker Baines point of view, how can we help? Our mission is to solve our customer problems through digital transformation to help them design and make a better world. In the context of Autodesk Construction Cloud solutions, what would that look like? We offer a variety of different services, from assessing your project and your needs and making sure that the right members have the right subscriptions, to assisting and consulting on different construction workflows, reviews, file and folder structures, naming conventions, BIM execution plans, and then offering training and project consulting throughout the entire lifecycle of the project. If you have enjoyed this webinar and if you want to get in touch with us or perhaps keep up to date with what we are offering, please do check us out online. The details to our website. You can also follow us on LinkedIn and all the different socials, and check out our YouTube channel for some previous webinars in this session and also some upcoming ones that will be released in the months to come. Thank you for joining.